here's what I would ask you to do. We've been talking all year about using teams, developing teams within your organizations, and this is really an easy 4-step strategy to consider if you're going to do this. Step 1, create a cross-functional team, right? And just ask them. This doesn't have to be super scientific. Once a quarter, get together. I don't care if they sit in the corner with a pizza and a couple drinks, open up their computers, spend an hour Googling, see what's out there. Look for 2 dynamics. Hey, what's out there that could potentially impact us internally, and what's out there that could potentially impact us externally. Step 2, take the research from step 1 and ask yourself, is there some strategic importance for us? Yes, no, maybe, and address it accordingly. And then step 3, if it's a yes, and it's an internal disruption, it now takes on new urgency. If you're heavily into healthcare and you point to market disruption, how will it affect your specific business model and revenue streams? Try and determine the estimate impact and revenue loss of that impending disruption. And then if it's external, make sure that you're using best practices, you're using benchmarking, you're using other tools out there that we'll talk about in our last foundation to monitor the impact of the external disruption. And then finally, step 4, if need be, consider that heavyweight team that we discussed earlier. Let's try to not use the same old ways of doing things, the old mindset that will ultimately preclude us from seeing the potential for the disruptive innovation and letting it slip through our fingers. One last word, and we'll close it down for class here today. You hear this mantra out there, disrupt or be disrupted, right? I don't want anybody leaving this month thinking that's what we've said here. That's not what we've said here. We have not said disrupt or be disrupted. What we've said is take a look at your business units, take a look at your teams, take a look at the things that drive your economic engine, take a look at your customers, take a look at your own internal processes, and see if there's anything out there. Ask yourself, how disruptive products, disruptive practices, or disruptive processes could dramatically change and impact the way you do business? And every one of you will have a different answer because every one of you plays in a different space, a different market, different protocols, different metrics, different KPIs, all those things. So don't run out of here and think, boss, we got to disrupt our business model just for the sake of doing it. After this month, I have no doubt that you have the knowledge to recognize it, to understand it, and better prepare for it. So today, before you shut your computer down and get off Zoom, open up your leadership journal and just think about a technology. Is it sustaining? Is it disruptive? I think it should be on our radar screen. I don't think it should be on our radar screen. But always ask yourself the question, can we afford to get it wrong? Because I would contend, I would argue, this is potentially, depending on your bread and butter work, depending on what market space that you play in, this could be an existential threat to your business. And you have to really come to grips with that. Put it on your radar screen. And that ultimately was really our intent this month, was to make sure that you better understood disruptive innovation. So how will you be different? Will you commit to getting up on the balcony, looking out, and seeing what's next for you, your organization, and the industry in terms of disruptive innovation?